This is the kind of content where machines are talking to machines. You might be able to produce it in great quantity, but your target audience is going to be using AI and other tools to sift through this. This is also the kind of content that is very clearly already being weeded out by Google and likely by other search engines in the very near future if it hasn't happened to you already. The second type is educational content. This kind of content may or may not be commoditized. For example, in financial services or healthcare, this is a very common and useful type of content. But at the same time, it is usually not unique to your organization. Quality and accuracy are really important in educational content, but it doesn't need necessarily to be novel. It can still be really valuable. In a prior life, I led marketing at a financial services entity. And the primary strategy for growth was to build robust educational content that helped small businesses better understand their financial services options. There was a lot of value in this because while we weren't inventing new content types or anything like that, there was a ton of demand for honest, accurate, and informative information about interest rates and loan terms and all sorts of different things because a lot of people hadn't had a lot of exposure to financial services products. So one way that we could both educate an audience, accelerate our pipeline, and build trust with the target buyer was to provide strong educational content. We could really see the ROI and the value in our pipeline and in revenue to the business. So this was a great strategy. If you're in a market like this, educational content makes a lot of sense. The type of content that we're talking about today, though, and the type of strategy is actually about thought. A nice, clean way of thinking about thought leadership is that it changes mindsets and it's also building trust. It's also unique to you. It really shows differentiated value because it's tied to your expertise. That makes it hard to copy. And it's also the opposite of commoditized, which is why I think for a lot of companies, especially if you're in a competitive but not exactly commoditized market, I think thought leadership is the strategy to choose. Now, the reason that I'm so emphatic about thought leadership being your only option to influence customers in competitive or what I would call interesting markets is because I continue to look at the data regarding the buyer journey and buyer preferences. Because if this data is not on your radar already, it really should be, not just for thought leadership, but for everything you're doing to try to grow your business and to be more effective.